This is our intermediate stay. This attaches to the mast just above the spreaders and counteracts the forward pull of the inner forestay. The gray sail, the stay sail, is hanked on to the inner forestay. Our problem is, as you saw in the video, doing a wing and wing or even on a broad reach, the mainsail will come over and chafe on this stay. These little strings are for the flag pennant, halyard. But I need to put some kind of a plastic protector on here, a chafe guard. Our problem is that here in Southeast Asia, we don't have access to this nice split plastic that you can put over stays. Very easy to apply. It doesn't last forever though. This is about maybe 4 months old. What happens eventually is it wears out. And if this old stuff, which is about 3 years old, is protecting anything, it's all by accident. So I went down to a local hardware store and found some PVC pipe. Actually, it's tubing. They use it here in Southeast Asia as electrical conduit. They have 240-volt system here. Their wiring is much smaller gauge than you'd ever find in America. But this is 8mm diameter wire, and this is 12mm inside diameter tubing. So it's very nice for sliding around. It's made of solid PVC, same stuff they make water pipes out of. And it's pretty much, as far as I can see, impervious to the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Down here on the lifeline, I had installed about 8 years ago some PVC tubing on the lifeline for chafe protection on the jib sheet. And as you can see, there's no chalking, there's really no wear, and I think this is going to probably last forever, just probably as long as our titanium chain plates down here. But of course the problem is now getting this tubing onto the stay because of the mechanical terminals. So of course you have to take these apart. There's a cone inside these wires that helps to spread them out and keep them from pulling up through the hole on the upper part of the terminal. So taking everything off, you have to cut the wire, and there's very good YouTube videos on how to deal with your brand of mechanical terminal. But just a couple things that I haven't seen in some of those videos is that when you cut the wire, we normally use an angle grinder. You could use a hacksaw. An angle grinder is just so fast and easy, and I use the 1/16 inch cutting disc as opposed to the thicker, twice as thick cutting disc. The thinner cutting disc will build up less heat, it's faster, although you do go through them pretty quickly. Some people would say, well, if you use a mechanical cutter like this, you build up heat, it moves the chromium away from the wire and will cause potential rust. But that's why you totally seal the mechanical fitting with some sort of a caulk. There's a big debate on what to use, but I use butyl rubber. There's all kinds of forms of butyl rubber. One is this black stuff, which you can buy at any car auto parts store in the US, and they use this for sealing car windshields. It works extremely well. It expands and contracts. It doesn't wear out. If it's good enough for a car windshield for all those decades that you own a car, it'll be good enough on a boat. But now the marine stores in America will be selling butyl tape, the same stuff, but white in color, which is certainly cosmetically much nicer. But for a lot of uses around the boat, I'll use butyl rubber in a caulking gun tube. This was originally used for sealing aluminum gutters, joins on the eaves of a house. So this same rubber has to hold up through the cold of winter, the terrible heat of summer, and it just doesn't wear out either. If you're outside of the US, don't buy butyl rubber that's made in China or Southeast Asia. I've used this stuff. It's junk. It doesn't work. If you've already bought it and you have it in the tube, throw it away. You don't want to use it. It has to be American-made butyl rubber in a tube. This stuff is like working with liquid cobwebs. It's sticky. It sticks to your fingers, to your tools, to your clothes, to the things that you're putting together. It sticks to places where you didn't realize you had it. And the best thing to clean up the butyl rubber with is mineral spirits. Acetone will work, but mineral spirits is by far better. So of course, when you do cut your wires, your stay, you have to be sure that you have enough threads left to put it all back together. On the port side, I had plenty of threads, no problem. On the starboard side, I had just enough threads left to get the cotter pin back in place. So I was lucky on this one. But also, when you do put your cotter pins in, don't bend them into curlicues. Just a 15-degree twist is all that you'll need, or a spread is all that you'll need, 15 degrees. So that way, in an emergency, if you have to take them out, you can grab them with a good strong pair of pliers and yank them out, and you'll be done. You won't be sitting there fiddling around for 15-20 minutes trying to straighten out curlicued cotter pins. Oh, and another thing is, before reassembling turnbuckles, you should put some kind of an anti-seize on the threads, so it'll make it much easier for disassembly in the future. What I normally use, and I use a lot of around the boat anytime I assemble two pieces of metal, is Lanacoat. Lanacoat is lanolin. It's an extract from sheep's wool. This is made in New Zealand, and there's a lot of sheep in New Zealand. Inside, it looks like grease, it feels like grease, but believe me, once this dries, it isn't grease, it's anti-grease. I found that out the hard way. There's some other products. Tef Gel would be one. Somebody gave this to me, this little syringe. There's another product called No Seize. They all come in syringes. I'm sure these work very well. I really don't use them because Lanacoat has always done what it's advertised to do. The other thing is black wire ties. White wire ties, blue, green, yellows, all those rainbow colors have all failed in the ultraviolet rays of the sun. An experienced cruiser recently told me that black works best. So this is my experiment. So if you use black wire ties and they work out good for you, please let me know about it. My wife Rebecca and I have been on this boat, it's a Valiant 40, for 11 years now. This is my second circumnavigation. I've worked as a professional boat captain and lived on boats for many years in a previous life. So right now, doing these YouTube videos, I think we're coming up with some things that you don't normally read about in magazines, and it might be a little difficult to find on YouTube presentations. So if you think this is worthwhile for yourself, just give me a like down below and a follow on the other side, and it'll be much appreciated. That'll be a little bit of an encouragement for us then to think about making more videos and trying to dig up some more of these little pointers to help other cruisers. Okay, thanks a lot for joining us, and hope to see you in the future.